Hey San Diego, welcome back to the Apartment Geek Weekly. I'm your host Chris Robinson, and took a 3 week little holiday break, and it was pretty nice. We're back. Happy New Year! It's 2021, and it feels great. Personally, I feel like I'm not a really big New Year's resolutions guy, but it is kind of cool to, like my mom always says, turn a new leaf and be the best version and kind of keep things top of mind, um, that are healthy and help you progress towards goals. So I'm having some fun with that. So happy New Year to everybody. Today I wanted to talk about, and I kind of put a tease in there on the last video 3 weeks ago about end of the year, beginning of the year, kind of what do we do? I typically raise rents on all my units the first of every year, the first of January. This year has been very unique, really once in a generation, hopefully, pandemic with this COVID. So what do we do first with rents? And I want to really kind of talk about, do we raise rents right now or February 1, whatever? Or do we not? Do we play the nice guy, compassionate, etc., which most of us are already. But I want to chat about that for a minute. And then also I wanted to remind people that each property, each asset is really its own business. And what we do, I've been in brokerage for almost 20 years, and I coach a lot of the younger guys or mentor them as a senior. And I always talk about having a business plan together. So with the different agents in the office at Acre in Mission Valley, we do quarterly business plans, and I always tell these guys, my metaphor is it's a roadmap to get from point A to point B. And if you have a roadmap, a business plan on how to get there, it's going to be a lot more effective, and you're going to hold yourself accountable and have measurable goals. So the thing with these apartment buildings is it's a similar deal. It's kind of, I like to put in a kind of a vision on each property, and what that looks like for me, and I wanted to share this with owners, is I have a whiteboard in my office. If you come into my office, and I'm looking at it right here, it's a larger, 3 feet by 5 feet whiteboard, and I have each property on there, and I have the vision of that property for the 2021. So anything about that property that can add value to it, I want to make a little bit of a note on this whiteboard to keep it in kind of the top of mind. So whether that's removing the old ugly juniper trees in the front, or doing a paint job on a property that really needs it. I have a property in North Park on Herman that it's in need of a paint job. I don't know if I'm going to do it this year, but I'm going to put it up there, because if my CPA wants me to capitalize something, if I have one of my painters that needs work or has a bunch of availability, maybe I hire him to do that. But anything that I think would add value on a property, I want to make a little bit of a short list. Paint the old, crappy looking perimeter fence. There's another property I'm thinking of that I have that has a stairwell with dry rot, and there's some movement. It's up at normal heights, and there's some movement in the clay, and it's kind of corroding, and there's some stucco that has a problem. These things I want to kind of have top of mind. So I'm going to put them on my little whiteboard under each property, and it's going to be like, these are the things that I can do in 2021 to add value to this property, to sustain the performance of it, and make it kind of a property that's going to continue doing well and look good and perform well. This ties into the first topic I want to talk about, which is rents. And in each one of my properties, I look at the rent roll at the end of the year when I'm raising rents, and I figure out where I want the goal to be for 2021. So I look at the 1 bedrooms, the 2 bedrooms, the studios, whatever it is in each particular property, and I try to get a nice indication, a clarity of where the market rent is and where are my rents in relation. The golden rule that I was always preached, and I tend to do this, is keep rents a hair below market. I don't know what percentage that is, maybe 5% or something, but If a market rent is $2,000, maybe I'm at $1,900. The biggest expense in any business is turnover. We know that. So I try to kind of keep tenant retention longer by keeping the rents a little below market. So what do we do this year with COVID? We want to be compassionate. We want to be sensitive to tenants that everybody's been shaken up by this thing. Even though a lot of people in my circle professionally have had the biggest 2020 of their careers, which is wild. So a lot of people are seeing a lot of success. Now, these are businesses, and do rents need to be raised? The answer is yes. And this is especially true with the California rent control that we have that's been in place now for a year. And we can only raise the rents a certain amount per year. If we don't do that now, January 1, February 1, March 1, whatever it is, maybe you did it a month or two ago, then you're going to get left behind, and you're going to be trying to play catch up. The price of a beer, the price of coffee, the price of most things I can think of, except for televisions. I was in Costco the other day, and I couldn't believe how, I haven't bought a television so long, I couldn't believe how cheap they were. But everything is going up. And my latte with oat milk from Pete's Coffee in Solana Beach is more expensive than it was a year ago. So why is it any different with the rents? I think landlords need to be reasonable. If you're at market right now, or you're really close to market, I would probably leave it alone and not raise the rent right now. But a number of my units across the portfolio, which ranges from Vista on the north to Chula Vista on the south, there's below market rents that are 15-20% below market. And those I'm deciding to right now notch those up a little bit to where I'm not pushing the ceiling, but I'm still a little bit below. So I think rents do need to be raised right now to kind of come full circle on this topic. Don't be afraid to do rent increase. I don't want there to be a mob of tenants outside, calling us bad landlords or uncompassionate, because we're not. But we have to understand that right now we're limited per year with the rent control for statewide, and we have to be reasonable. Again, don't push it beyond. If you think you're at market, leave it. Don't mess with it. But anything that is low, if you got 1 bedrooms or 2 bedrooms that are lower than your other comparable units in that property, then think about notching those up right now with a 30-day rent increase, and take it up 3% or 2 or 3% or 4%, maybe 5%, or go up the max of 6 or 7. This is coming to me right now. Lease ups are about as strong as we've ever seen them. So if you get a turnover and somebody goes, I'm out of here, this is BS, then you're going to re-rent that unit at probably a higher number anyways, because the new rent lease ups is very strong. There's a lot of people looking for apartments in San Diego, believe it or not. That's what we're experiencing, and we're hearing that from all the owners, which is great news. So it's okay to raise rents. We want to be compassionate. If you've got amazing tenants that pay out all the time and they're close to market, leave them be. And think about your vision of the properties this year. Your rents are $10,000 a month and you really want to get up to $11,000 a month, etc. You've got a loan on it. This is a great time to look at your financing situation as well. A lot of people have these loans and they don't really think about them, but look at how much you owe, what's your prepayment penalty, when can you refinance, because maybe that prepay burns off this year and you're at a 4% interest rate, and now rates are lower. They're 3.25%, 3.5%, whatever. They're lower. So that would be a perfect time to refinance. You don't need to pull money out, but you can if you want. We've talked about that so many times before. So take this as an awareness check. I'm really big on reminders and awareness. It's this cliche word, and I hate to use it like that, but we have to be, use the first of the year as your goals for the property and the business plan to kind of set in place. Where do you want to see this thing at the end of the year? Kind of like the brokers in the brokerage real estate sales business we do. What do you want your income to be in 2021? 100,000, 500,000, $1 million, whatever it is. If these agents are clear and deliberate and measurable and accountable with themselves, our industry, you can make $5 million a year if you really wanted to and you set your heart out to do it. So that's my 2 cents. Let me know what you think. We'll have some cool stuff coming up, and send me anything that you want to have more detail or want to hear more about. Where we're going in this market, operations, etc. Personally, I think we're moving through COVID, and it's going to still be here for some time, but I think we'll be in a much better place at the end of this year, or maybe like at the end of summer. Don't quote me on that, but we'll see. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, be well.